Alright, hi guys. Here's the video today. We're going to show you a couple of variations of the twisting or rotational exercises, otherwise known as wood chop. I'm going to show you a couple of versions going from easiest to hardest. And this will give you an idea of how you can progress things, how you can regress things if you're finding them too difficult, so which is the one to go back to if you're sort of stuck at one that may be giving you pain or giving you some problems. And you can sort of give you a few ideas on how to use this exercise. Alright, so first one here is our half kneeling, our tall kneeling wood chop. So this is a very easy version. So basically it's taking the legs out of it, which to be honest really disrupts the timing of it all, but the beauty of it is that the person can really learn how to engage through the abdominals, but keeping their hips in a very open position, because a lot of people flex too much. So you can see Nathan here in a very open position, where a lot of people will have this sort of buckled point, and that's the hips here are really tightening up. That's their leg there. So we're trying to get them into the position where they're very much up, nice and tall. So there's the hips really facing forward, because the hips are the key. Hips and thoracic, all right, they're the key to getting this one done properly without pinching the back or getting other problems. All right, so that's the first one. The second one, we move into what we call a half kneeling position. All right, so it sort of now brings one leg into a flexed hip position, which is very similar to the timing of like in tennis and stuff that you would see. So you're sort of always in a lunge position, so getting the slings, and you can sort of see here as I come around. How great, if I take it back a bit for you, that position there is a great hip flexor stretch. Alright, so sort of really open, his arm being pulled across like that, sort of actually pulling the hip flexor up and out. So I actually really like this exercise for beginners to learn, and they'll really for the first time feel they're engaging through here, and this is really locking up that lumbar spine, the lower back, so they can't twist from there because of being in that position sort of locks them up. It's mainly this leg here, the glutes and that are really sort of putting it into a jammed up position. Alright, so this is a great one, and it's the one that would lead up into the standing. Alright, so if we continue to play, you'll see Nathan will go the last rep on here, and then he will move into his standing position. So now we'll go to standing. Now this is the one you really want to be the best at, because this is where you're learning to weight shift. So he'll have to push off his left leg to get onto his right. So he has like a moving across. The hands are right out in front. And you'll see if I slow it on the next one. So right there, you'll see his hands having to get this like V sort of shape. All right. Quite often we'll see the elbows bend and the person trying to use their arm too much. The other thing is that we'll see is on the legs, they don't get like that nice bend that Nathan's got there, so they won't get enough power from the leg. They'll have almost like a locked out leg, and then their back's flexing, so their head's over here somewhere. Alright, so you've always got to see how his eyes are nice and horizontal. He's always very well balanced, good posture, his head very still. Alright, and that's how you get the high to low wood chop, so that coming down is the easy one, because you've got good leverage. Now he's changing the height of the cable machine to then go low to high. This one is a lot harder because he's going to have to use a hell of a lot more legs, a lot more riskier, because this is where you get flexion with rotation, which is really how a lot of people really aggravate their back. But you'll see as he's bending over, if I pause it on the next one, so as he's there, he's got like a really nice way of bending over on a lateral lunge, very much like in a deadlift position. Alright, so he's sort of in this position. He can get great leverage from his glutes. He's got to keep his back in this neutral, so he's not flexing like so. Alright, and then he can really power from his leg, because the last part of it is crucial in that he's got to develop, if I take it back, that point there. See, and this is the other thing I see a lot of people don't do. They don't get up onto the toes, and those hips don't fly around to face that way. Alright, again, look how straight his arms are. So his arms are that straight. I know he's not using his arms, he's using legs and hips to do everything for him. Alright, that's how you use the cable, from going from easiest to hardest. And we'll show you soon in another variation using barbells, and then going into medicine balls, even ropes, and even a sledgehammer. Alright, so basically it gets harder and harder and faster. That's the key to these. That's another big thing. That's an element to getting these right. They must be done quickly. You can't do these slowly, as people do with bodybuilding mindsets of trying to isolate abdominals. It doesn't work like that. You're disrupting the timing completely. These are relying on timing. That's why golf, tennis, all those rotational sports, timing is everything. So to get these exercises right, the timing's got to be quite quick, trying to get the power through from the legs through the torso out the arms. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll show you our follow-up on the progressions of these in a second. Using medicine ball. Medicine balls are awesome for partner drills. You know, the timing of throwing it, and actually the catch is harder than the throw. You know, excellent, great for power training. So, you know, elite athletes love using this piece of equipment for that reason. All right, so now as much of this is known as an abdominal exercise, it's very much a leg exercise, and it's teaching you how to get your power to be driven from your legs. All right, so let's have a look at how these guys do it and break it down for you. All right, so there's a real weight shift. So Ali's got to like move from left, and then Dylan's moving to his right leg to transfer his weight over to the other side. All right, so there's a real twisting and leg drive action happening here. All right, and we'll break it down for you on the next one. Nice, there's a twist. All right, so here we go. So Dylan there, he's got like great strength through his right leg here. All right, this is the key to everything. This is where the energy is being created. It's all building up, and then as he moves, you'll see that he'll have to sort of gradually, like he rotates around, so that's where his spine, and then there's a big push off of that foot. So see how that foot lifts up off the floor there? So and the hip sort of rotates around there. This leg here has got to stay stable, but this back one is where all the power is being transferred out through his body, so the ball comes flying at Ali. All right, so a big important part of this exercise, and these guys aren't doing it just to keep it easy for the video, but you really want to throw it as hard as you can. If you don't throw it hard enough, you're losing the timing of it. All right, so it's really relying on the explosive timing. Now with the catch, so as Ali catches the ball, she's got to really absorb the landing into her left leg. See how she's moved all her weight over to the left leg? That's very important, because that's how you slow the ball down. That's the braking element to it. All right, so that's just as important as the acceleration, and you can see Dylan's got that perfect follow through there. All right, so that's what it should look like as you're doing it. So if your feet are stuck in the ground, you're not doing it right. All right, so excellent exercise, very simple, but don't underestimate the power of this one. Okay, so here's another version of woodchop, and this time we're using a barbell, and we're going to show you 3 different versions, again from easiest to hardest. First one's pretty simple, so you're just holding it right on the tip of the bar with both hands interlaced, the fingers, and Nathan's basically just going to rotate the bar from side to side. So he's just got his feet planted, and he's just going to roll around, get a bit of a weight shift on his legs. This is very sort of a simple one. You have to have the weight shift. You don't want to. You've got to move the legs a lot. If you don't do that, you're going to have problems. Now the next one is where he now starts to add the stepping action. You'll see now he gets like a bit more extra movement, and he can really make this quite fast if he wanted to, and really sidestep into it really explosively. So basically, again, he's got to keep those arms pretty straight. So you can see there, and if I bring him over, if I take him back a bit, you'll see on this one when we're out here, see how straight his arms are. So it's very trying to get from the legs. It's really the legs and the torso twisting it around. Alright, so this is 2 great exercises using the barbell. I probably prefer the cables most time, but these ones are do give a lot more strength element to it. Be careful putting too much weight on it though, because it slows the timing down, which disrupts everything, and probably turn it into an arm exercise, which it should not be. Alright, so now we're going to, Nathan's going to grab a little handle, and we're going to add the handle to it. Now the handle changes everything. This really amplifies the load, like massively, probably triples it, to be honest, even though he hasn't changed the weight of the plate. Alright, so what he's going to do now, because the main problem with this is the lever that it creates. It's just so much further away from him. See how the bar's like way further away than it was when it was just when his hands was on the bar. Now it's this extra lever. It's the lever that's creating all the damage through the core. That's why these exercises work so well. and the legs are the key. If you don't use your legs, you'll use your lower back. I'll guarantee that. Right, so this exercise can be very risky if you've got weak legs. So if you can't do a lunge, you can't do this exercise properly. I'll tell you that now. All right, so then we'll watch Nathan do it. He'll explode and he'll keep the bar away from him as much as he can. Takes the hands to the side and watch how he really gets into his legs. See, there's the lunge. That's why if you can't do a lunge, you're in trouble. And then you'll take it across again. You'll see you should try and get the plate on the outside of his leg. There you go, which he did that time, and the one before he didn't. And you see his facial expression there, how much more effort he needs to use on this. All right, so it's a lunge because he doesn't want to flex his back. That'd be bad news. All right, so always making sure you got that lunge there. All right, and if on this side the plate's got to miss your leg. All right, so it's got to be on the outside, not the inside. All right, here's a really cool video of an interesting piece of equipment called a tornado ball or cyclone ball, some people refer to. I've got this screen split here, so I'm going to show you two variations of it. One that's sort of going to go sort of in a more of a vertical upward pattern, and the other one just very much horizontal. So we'll have a look at the first one, the horizontal one, and basically Nathan's going to be hitting the ball against the wall as fast as he can. Trying to sort of hit here and then coming around in a circular pattern and hitting the ball up high. This would be sort of like hitting something like a golf ball off the drive, or a cricket shot in the air, or baseball, whatever. So you're sort of trying to hit it into the air. The key is for this to work well, the rope has to stay very tight. If it gets a little bit laxy in there, it loses its effectiveness. The ball will probably hit you. Alright, so the only way to keep it tight is to keep the speed of the ball. If at any moment you slow down, you're in trouble. Alright, so the speed of this exercise is everything. Alright, so let's have a look at Nathan, how he does it, and we'll see how he goes. Alright, so basically he's got to whack it off the wall as hard as he can. And using his leg, you can see how his left leg there has to load up and then turn internally. See how his hip has to ride around. So he ends up facing that way, and he's right up on his toes. All right, very much like what you do in a golf swing, tennis shot off a backhand. This will be a backhand if you're a right-hander. Look at how tight the ball is. All right, the rope is. So he's getting really good movement through that side. All right, so it's again, the strength is not the main factor here. It has everything to do with coordination, timing, power. All right, so let's have a look at the other one. So this is the easy one. This is the one where it's just going horizontally. So he's basically just going to be hitting the ball more or less right to the side of him, sort of going straight across. All right, this is why it's a lot easier. Coordination's a little bit. You don't need as much transfer of weight going up. All right, so let's have a look how he does this one. All right, so he's going to set up low so he doesn't lose his balance, and you'll see how his weight transfers from one leg to the other, and just keeping that nice tight rope on the ball there. There you go, and whack, 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 whack. All right, so the key to this exercise is a bit like the ropes and all these other ones, sledgehammer, very short amount of work, 20 seconds tops really. Any longer than that and you're going to lose your timing because you're going to be moving too slow. Defeats the purpose of the exercise. It's not a strength exercise. You shouldn't feel like anything is muscular tired. Should feel like you just need a drink of water and you're puffed out. If you feel like that, you've done it well. If you feel muscular tired, you're doing it wrong. All right. You're going to need to have quite a good grip on this as well. You can sort of see Nathan needs to hold the two ropes together, and then he's got to swing them right up high and then slam it down. So the rope makes that big whipping action. And you'll see how he has to make a big circular action, comes right up and then twist it, rotate it to the other side. So as he moves it, he's sort of got to swing it, see how his feet will jump and land on the other side and slam it down. All right, so I'll play this in real time for you to give you an idea. All right, so that gives you an example of just how explosive that exercise is and how tough it can be. All right, but if you want to really develop that explosive power for sports, for example, great for football, this one. It's an awesome exercise to use. Again, don't do it for too long because then you're going to make it slow, and it's not a slow movement. It really needs short repetitions of explosive tempo. All right, so hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you on the next one.